Greetings, fellow time travelers. Welcome back to the Prologue world for episode 89 of some more unsensational and unimpressive Minecraft longplay content. It's going to be not quite an adventure today. I'm going to be doing some farming, trying to get my cow skins. And probably after that, I'm going to be chopping trees. They keep huddling up over on this side, and it's because even if I'm just on that other side of the table, of the house, they're already outside of the movement simulation range. So I have to move over to this side of the house for them to start moving again. That is a little bit irritating. I do not like that. But there isn't really anything I can do about this. Huh. I already moved the barrier over. I thought that was going to fix it, but no, unless the barrier is like even further over, and they're just all going to be huddled in right around the house, they're going to keep doing this. But it looks like as long as I stand on this side of the house, that puts them within the movement range of movement simulation, and then they start moving around. Yeah. So I guess that's what I gotta do. Alright, yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's kind of an aside. I didn't really mean to start this episode with that. I have one more tree left to grow. One more tree still growing over here. So yeah, I do have a subject in mind for you guys today, because I'm going to be doing some repetitive tasks. I'm going to be doing... the farming is kind of fun, actually. You get to feed cows and kill some cows off. But then I'm probably just going to be chopping trees. Because I got to restock my wood pile. Got to restock my wood supply. I'm down to, back to not having barely any wood left. And I need a lot of wood for the torches. I need like thousands of torches to continue exploring the caves, because the next step is to get more diamonds. I still don't feel like I really got enough diamonds. The next step after I get my enchanting setup going, I need to get my cows. I need to farm my cows to get my enchanting setup going. And I'm going to be, while I'm doing that, while I'm waiting for the cows to grow, I'm going to be chopping trees down. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about a very important topic. I do have a topic in mind. It took me several days to really work myself up to covering this topic. I want to go ahead and have... Well, I guess I don't really make more torches until I run out of the ones I have. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Everything's good. I'm ready to go. Well, I need to get myself the hose for the trees. Let's start with the cows. Let's take this one step at a time, start with the cows. The topic I had in mind today is actually, it's about prayer. I've been thinking a lot about the ethics of prayer in particular. And it's because I've been having a conversation about this with a friend of mine that offered to pray for me, because this friend of mine is a religious person, and I'm very fond of her. Like I have no issue with religious people. I actually have. I like to think about these matters. It's not that this is just that. Yeah, I ought to start anything like this off with a disclaimer that I am not trying to stir up drama with religious people. I'm not trying to be offensive to religious people. I come from a position of curiosity, of trying to investigate, of trying to make thought experiments about religious matters of religiosity. So that's from that perspective I'd like to talk about what I make of prayer and the dynamics of prayer, the psychological dynamics of prayer. What am I doing though? I need to get started. I need to get my cows fed. That's right. That's what I'm trying to do. I think I have a bunch of wheat. Well, I guess I gotta sleep through the night just to keep it safer. Let's just make it a little safer. Sleep through the night, and then I'm gonna get my wheat. And then that farm isn't really grown all the way yet, so I don't want to re-harvest the wheat farm yet. But I'm pretty sure I have a good amount of wheat stashed over here. And this just yeah. So I think we have I think we're up to 32 cows, I believe. So I'm pretty sure we should be able to, yeah, to just grab 32 wheat and use all of it up. Let's test this. I'm not actually sure if I have. I think if I was mathing correctly, I think this is 32 cows now. So I want to draw a whole bunch of them over to like half of them over to that feeding block. I only have 2 feeding blocks because there's not really that much space. But this is probably maximum capacity, and it feels slightly overcrowded. Like it would be good to have like half of this, even like 16 cows wouldn't feel too like it's too. But this isn't too bad. Like this isn't overly overcrowded. I'm okay with this. All right, let's go. Let's bring these guys over to this side of the farm, and I want to feed them from this feeding block over here. Yeah, this is nowhere near half of them. I think this is like 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there's an 11th one that I'm going to try to drag along with me, and try to get this guy fed with one of these other guys, just to try to keep them separated from the ones that I've fed. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Yeah. No, that's 31. One more somewhere. One of you guys isn't fed. Yeah, this becomes really problematic. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I was off by one. Maybe I only had 31 cows then. Because it seems like I can't feed any more of them, and that's it. That's it. I used up 31. Okay, well, in that case, we probably have. We only have 15 cows that we gotta kill. Or I guess 14 cows. I guess we should only kill 14 cows because we made 15 cows. I just want to try to lure them over to this side of the freaking farm because I don't like it that they're all huddled together on that side. I might end up having to section them off more because I don't like it how they just huddle themselves over on that side. I'm not happy with that. So anyways, I guess I'll kill 14 cows, and I just hope that this is right. I mean, at least I was close. I guess we were 1 cow off, 1 cow short of 32. I guess we had 31, so we made 15, so we should be at 45 cows, and if I kill... What, do I only need to... No, 14... I need to kill 13 cows? Man, I'm confused. 15 cows. I made 15 cows. We have 1 extra... I think I need to kill 14 then. I think. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. All right. So we should have, in theory, there should now be 16 grown cows. No, 17 grown cows and 15 baby cows. In theory. Let's try to count them. So was the grown cows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep, we've done it. I think I mathed correctly. There's 17 grown cows. I'm not gonna count the baby cows. There have to be 15 because I used up 31 wheat, so one short of 32. So there should be 15. So this should be 32 cows total now. That was the target, I guess. And I'm trying to work up to. I'm gonna need 48 leather total. Oh no! Don't you dare! But I need 48 leather total. So it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take several thinnings of the herd, several rounds of several cow rounds of feeding and slaughtering the cows to work myself up to 48. I got 20 so far, so that's gonna take like 2 or 3 more rounds. So I got plenty of time to chop some trees down. and talk to you guys about the ethics of prayer. I'll have the timestamp for when I actually get into the conversation. I hope that you guys, I should have mentioned that at the beginning, that if you guys are welcome to skip all of the, if you guys are just in it, really just like watching these for the intellectual discussions. I'm not done yet. I still gotta bring the right kind of stuff with me. I don't have my hose on me. I got my milk and my lava on me for some reason. I don't really need that stuff for chopping the trees down. Those aren't tree chopping materials. There's my hose. Let's bring some hose. I kind of want like one more two more hose and one more chop axe. Yeah. So we can put one of them there. And then I wanted to drop off the lava bucket and the milk bucket. I don't really need those for now. I don't really need the bundles on me either for now. I'd rather just have that extra space for the wood. So I'll carry the extra shield on me just in case we get ambushed by something, by some pillagers or something. I want to fight them off. All right, I think we're good now, and I want to make one more hoe and one more axe. So let's do that, and then we're going to be two more hoes, and then we're going to be all set to go and chop some trees and talk about prayer. A very important topic. Okay. How are we at so far on the timing? All right, I think I started at like 15:05, so it's already been like 15 minutes. I got like 45 minutes left to talk about prayer. I guess I can go ahead and harvest this farm. It's just about ready. I'll wait a little. I'll wait until after I come back from chopping the trees down. I want to continue chopping all of this. All of these trees over here. All of the small trees from this area are going to need to go. All of the small trees. Well, as I work up my way up the mountain, it's just going to start looking really, kind of barren without all the trees up there. That's kind of a stage in the process. If you're as you're deforesting the forest, I mean, I know I leave the big trees alone, but still you end up with these just barren landscapes. So it's actually kind of I should try to. I've been thinking about this and I haven't implemented yet. Where you're basically, when you're doing this, if you're chopping trees down in areas that you don't really plan to do anything with, that you kind of, because this area, like, I don't think I'm actually going to build anything here. It's just going to be kind of a side of the mountain that I don't really intend to do a whole lot with. So I kind of want some trees to be here, and I'm thinking, well, I got to either repopulate this area with large trees and try to force large trees, or I can do like the quadruple trees and plant, make little pedestals, dirt pedestals for 4 saplings, and make big quadruple tree spots, good spots for larger trees, basically. I mean, the thing is, it's just going to take even longer to do this, to go through with that process. It's going to take some serious, thinking. I'd have to think about how to do that too, because I haven't done that before, guys. But anyways, I want to go ahead. In any case, I'm going to have to chop down all these trees. We're going to have to deforest the entire forest barn. There's more of it over there. There's a lot more of it over by the first death obelisk. I think we cleared out almost all of everything from the second death obelisk, but not by the first death obelisk. And then over here, I want to go ahead and start off from here, because we're here right now. And this area, I know I want to chop down all these trees. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking to you. I have a lot on my index card. Man, I could have dropped off these axes. I don't really need the axes for this. That's okay. No problemo. I kind of want like 8 stacks. I want a lot of wood on me. I have a bed, right? Yes, because it's almost sundown. Yeah, so let's get into the ethics of prayer, because I do have a lot that I wanted to talk about on this matter. I might not get through everything in this one episode. I might have to extend the conversation onto a future episode. and that it might be a while until I make that future episode. But I'll talk about that at the end. Let me just go ahead and get into the actual conversation now. And if I run out of time, I'll talk to you guys about when to expect more on this matter from me, because it might be a while. Because I got some world tours coming up, ready to go. So yeah, ethics of prayer. Let me go ahead and sleep. Still not completely ready. I gotta sleep now because the sun is going down. Okay. All right. Timestamp. This is the time for the timestamp. All right, let's get into the conversation. I want to talk about the ethics of prayer with you guys today, and there's a number. I have like 8 bullet points on my little index card. I have no idea if I'll cover everything. The first kind of point that I want to make is how my biggest line of reasoning is that if as I mentioned earlier. But for those of you guys that skipped that skipped things from earlier, that just used the timestamp, I want to reiterate the fact that I'm not here to disparage religious people. I have a very charitable opinion of religion, and I like to explore these topics in a very respectful manner. All right. So from a respectful point of view, I like to consider the implications of prayer. And the first point I want to make is if we grant the premise that God does exist, that's from a charitable, a charitably agnostic premise, that like I consider myself a charitable agnostic, and by that I mean I think it's more likely than not that God does exist, that there is some kind of supernatural reality to it, and I just don't claim to any kind of certainty about that. I don't like to subscribe myself to any kind of religious belief, because I think that we don't have enough clarity about what that reality is like to actually commit ourselves to anything religious. For example, for the matter of prayer, I would imagine that, and this is my first point on this matter, that if God existed, guys, I don't think that God would want us to be praying to him, even if he did exist. Because this is, I think the Catholics are in particular like to imagine that God created us for one of the reasons was to glorify him, for the sake of his own glorification. So like one of the reasons we exist is that we're supposed to be praying to God as a means of not just asking him for things, not just praying for things, to fulfill your wishes, but also for forgiveness and for guidance. Not just praying for those things, but also to glorify God, just to express a sense of awe for the greatness of God. I would imagine that this would not be the case. That goes against my intuition of the way that a good-natured God, of the personality that I would expect from a good-natured God, right? I would expect that a good-natured God would be as humble as the people that he's trying to lead. I wouldn't expect a good-natured God to want to be glorified. I would expect a good-natured God to have the humility to not really be perceived as, to not wish to be perceived as a grandiose being, right? I would expect him to be more kind of like Jesus, kind of like ourselves, kind of like just a regular guy that perhaps he's like a big supermassive supernatural power, but I would expect him not to want us to, I would expect him to not wish for praise for having that supernatural, for having all of that power. He wouldn't want to be praised for it. He would prefer to remain humble in this regard, and kind of take advantage of, where's that coming from, and utilize his supernatural power, but without, I have no idea where that zombie is. I would expect God to utilize his new supernatural powers in a modest fashion, without expecting. There he is. Where did you come from, guy? There must be a cave underneath he's coming from. That means that we're not safe from creepers either. Because I do not know where the heck that cave is. Over here somewhere? I don't know. Over here? Yeah, these caves down here. I need to go light them up real quick. So yeah, I would expect God to not want to be glorified. And not only because he doesn't want to be glorified would he not want us to pray, but also I think that the fact that he's being so, that we're left in the dark, that because of the, my pick is coming in handy. I guess I should have brought one bundle just in case I have mob drops, because now I have a zombie flesh taking up inventory space, but that's okay. I probably won't need all of that inventory space anyways. All right, that's lit up now. But for other reasons, I think God wouldn't want us to pray to him. Not just because he would be humble, but also because I think that the fact that he's made himself hidden because of the divine hiddenness. The fact that the matter of divine hiddenness to me suggests that God doesn't want us to reliably assume that he's real. God kind of wants to remain hidden. That if he is real, he kind of wants to the kind of world that he put us in. He must have done this with the intention of making it, of preserving a level of uncertainty within us about whether or not there is an afterlife and whether or not there is a supernatural reality. So I would guess that, considering that this is kind of world that he created. I'm holding a pick still instead of the hoe. Considering that he created a world in which he is divinely hidden, in which his divinity is hidden from us. That to me suggests that he would prefer us not to assume that we're on our own. And I think, and it kind of makes sense too. I think he would kind of want us to he would want us to assume that we're on our own for the sake of fostering better relations with each other. And to me, for me, like I would imagine that if our world was created intelligently, if the world was intelligently designed, let's for the time being, let's set aside the ethical problems with that, right? I talked a lot about how if the world was intelligently designed, well, that would suggest that it's an unethical undertaking, because there's ethical problems with creating such a world, right? So but let's set that aside for now. Let's imagine that in some kind of way in the supernatural realm, once we die, it becomes apparent to us that everything actually it's entirely acceptable that we just lived through this horrific existence full of suffering, in which we did not have that was completely non-consensual to us, at least for the duration of time that we were alive. We didn't have the choice to just snap out of it at any time if we wanted to. There was we don't have the option to withdraw our consent, even if we consented to it before we were born, right? So that's kind of an ethical problem with intelligent design in itself, right? But let's set that aside for now. If we were to assume that, yes, that there is this ethical dilemma, but let's for the sake of the argument, imagine that we just don't understand something. There's just something that we don't understand, and perhaps the ethicality of it kind of works itself out in the end. Let's imagine that. If that's the case, then still I would expect that because of the divine hiddenness feature of this world, because God made us so that it's not obvious to us that he exists, he would want us to assume that he doesn't exist and live as if he doesn't exist. And it makes sense. I think if the objective of our existence is to learn from it, is to learn compassion from it, right? God would want us to rely on each other more, to value each other more, to take better care of each other, and to foster better relations with each other, to not expect help from God, but rather to help each other out, and to be out here and Jesus was this was a major theme in the way that in the things that Jesus talked about, right? Jesus talked about treating your neighbor as yourself, and about making that the most important feature, the most important thing to strive towards, as if that's basically what that was the thing that God cared about the most. Not a he like that, and that's kind of what my expectation would be of a good-natured God. That if such a God exists, he wouldn't care about us praying to him, but he would care about the way that we treated each other. And in fact, that would be the central point. The whole point of our existence is to learn how to treat each other better, right? So I would expect that God would actually wish for us not to pray to him for either. Let's say, like, if we need things, if we're in desperate need of something, I think God would prefer us to collaborate with other human beings, to ask for help, to have the humility to ask for help of others instead of asking God for help. So that's one thing. And then I know people are going to say, well, a lot of people discover God in times of great distress, when the help has, when they're completely helpless, when the help from other people has dried up, that's when they end up discovering God. Well, that's an aside. I don't want to get into that scenario right now. I know that's a reality for many of us, but just to not get sidetracked here, let's continue talking about the sleep first. Let's sleep first to not get blown up while we're talking about this. Where was I? Now I lost my train of thought. I was talking about how God wouldn't want us to pray to him. Right, God would want us to ask each other for help, and likewise with forgiveness, right? I think God would prefer us to, like, instead of asking him for forgiveness, God would prefer us to ask for forgiveness, have the humility to ask forgiveness of the people that we've wronged. If we feel like we've done something wrong to somebody, we should ask them for forgiveness or do things to make up for our misdeeds. And to be fair, I do believe that at least Catholicism does, in particular, emphasize that God does want us to make up for our mistakes, not just by asking him for forgiveness, but for actually doing things in the real world to do things to make up for our misdeeds, right? If we did hurt somebody in some kind of way, or do something that we feel bad about, that we ought to make up for that. I think Catholicism in particular has something of that persuasion, of that reason, of that kind of line of teaching, right, as part of its doctrine. I think I don't know. I'm not a religious scholar, guys. I do not know what I'm talking about very much. I'm just sharing my personal thoughts on this matter, my personal ignorant thoughts, this is my proudly ignorant perspective, right? I like to just think about things, about what I make of things, and use that as a starting point before I actually do research in that on those matters, right? That's kind of what I advocate for, and that's the way that I roll when exploring philosophical matters, right? And that's kind of where I'm at, and I don't know how long I'm going to spend in that in that kind of, how long I'm going to spend before I actually start to research anything. But for the time being, I'm not researching anything, and that might last for years before I actually start looking into things, because I just want to have a good amount of clarity developed of what do I make of things, right? And this is what I'm the kind of thoughts that I've been having about prayer and about God, that even if God existed, I think that God would not want us to pray to him. But that's only my first point. Right? Like a good-natured God would prefer us not to pray to him, but rather just do kind things, just do what I think he would want us to do in this world, which is to just help each other out and to be kind to one another. All right, so that's my first contention with it. God wouldn't want to be glorified. God wouldn't want to be prayed to. Okay, another one. Another contention I have. So if I find that if you do ask, I call this the misattribution problem, and this is another problem that arises from prayer. If you pray for things, for good things to happen to you, or pray for forgiveness or for good things to happen to you, what ends up happening very often is that when good things do happen to us, it normally comes in the form of other people helping us out. And I would expect that even if I was from God's point of view, from the perspective of a good-natured God, I don't think that God would want us to appreciate, to grant Him the gratitude for those things, for those good things. When the good things do happen, most of the time, and every now and then, it's some kind of a serendipitous, mystical coincidence, right? That appears as if, all right, perhaps that was God, perhaps because it wasn't a person involved. It was just a sheer luck. Sometimes we just luck out. And it really doesn't seem like it was the workings of any particular human being, but rather of some kind of a mystical alignment and perhaps divine intervention. But even in that case, even in that scenario, how do we know that it was specifically God and not like some spirit from the spirit realm? How do we know that it wasn't a concerned relative that's trying to help us out somehow? Or some angels or something, or some kind of aliens, perhaps some fifth-dimensional, multidimensional aliens. How do we know that it's God that's setting up these supernatural, mystical alignments, mystical points of serendipity, right? So even in the case when it's not a human that's making good things happen to us, even then we don't really know if we can attribute those things to God. But if we've prayed for it, and if you're a person that prays, well, you basically pray for, you end up feeling like everything good that ever happens to you is God's answer to your prayers. If you are a praying person, you get the sensation that you ought to be grateful for anything good that ever happens to you, and you ought to imagine, and I think most people do. Most praying people imagine that whenever anything good happens to them, well, it's a result of their prayers. It's God answering their prayers. And I think that God wouldn't want us to attribute those things to Him, especially when it's not a mystical significance and it's clearly a result of a human being helping us out in some kind of a way. I think that God would prefer us to attribute, to direct our gratitude towards those human beings that helped us out, right? And if we pray, well, then it's like it makes it appear as if it was perhaps under some God's guidance. There's no way for us to know if that person would have acted in that same way if we hadn't prayed, right? So because it may be that person had received some kind of guidance from God that caused them to behave in that way that ended up helping us out, right? So we're left to assume that if something good happens to us that we did pray for, or even if we didn't pray for it, but you are a praying person, you are left to assume that it involves some kind of mystical intervention, that it's something that you ought to thank God for, right? Even if there's no clarity about whether God caused these things to happen or not, you end up thanking God for everything. And I feel like that's a bit problematic, because I think that we ought to. From my own intuitive sense of ethics, I think that it's more important to attribute our gratitude towards the actual party that done the things for us that we are grateful for, right? So I think it's more important that we express our thanks to the people that have helped us out, and not to God. Because when somebody does something good for you, and then you say, "Oh, thank God, I'm so glad," and you're grateful to God for the good things that other people have done for you. I kind of it makes me feel kind of slightly frustrated with that religious mindset, because I feel like, well, I did this for you. This wasn't God. I don't even believe in God. This is something that I did for you because I let's not die over here. It's something that I've done for you. Why are you praising God? Why are you telling God, giving God the thanks for it when I was the one that did this for you? So from my perspective, from the perspective of the person, of the party that did the... All right, I gotta focus on what I'm doing here to not die. Hold on, guys. Hold on just a second. I got to pause the commentary for a second and make sure I don't die to these mobs. This is all the same cave structure. This is all this is like one of the ledges that is above those caves where we were exploring not too long ago. So this is all good. Like it is worthwhile to, definitely worthwhile to go ahead and light these spaces up real quick while we're up here. All right, let's make some more torches and light this up too. Light this up here just because I'm here. Why not? It's a good opportunity to do this. We're right at the top. This is where all the water is coming, right? This is where, at the top of this massive aquifer up here. Wonderful opportunity to go ahead and light things up. So, oops. There we go. Ooh, wow. And then it goes further. Now, this cave system structure is absolutely massive and amazing. So much space in these caverns. All right, well, that's about as far as I want to go in this direction. Just one more torch over here. One more torch over here. Yeah, that's fine. All right, and let's get back out of here. I kind of want to focus on the trees. What was that? I heard a crazy, I think that was from the depths. It was a sound arising from the water. Just gonna light up all of the stuff in the surrounding area. So yeah, there's this misattribution problem, as I like to call it, where you end up attributing things to God, even though they were not necessarily caused by God, and there's no way for you to know, right? And the only way to solve that problem that I can see is to not pray, because then you know that, well, then it's not something that if it was God's intervention for it, well, I didn't ask him for that. So I don't, and that way, I don't feel like I owe God any kind of gratitude for things that other human beings have done to help me out. Right? That's what my problem is. Like, if I knew that it was God, then of course, yeah, I would be grateful to God for those good things, wonderful things happening to me. But most of the time, we don't know that. Normally, it's things that other people have done to help us out. And I believe that we ought to be grateful to those other people instead of being grateful to God. And a religious person would probably say, well, I'm grateful to both. Of course, like I tell people thanks for the good things they've done, and then I also thank God for it. Yeah, I guess, but it's in that if you're doing that, you're basically suggesting that other person, if it wasn't for God's intervention, that person wouldn't have done that good thing for you. Like, you're still kind of splitting your. I still kind of have an issue with that, because in that case, you're splitting your attribution between the person that has helped you out and God, and that's not necessarily the case. It might, if there was, you don't really know that. And if I'm like a non-believing person like myself, like I would be, like I wouldn't care enough to be like, oh man, that's offensive. I don't want to deal with you anymore. It's not like that. It's not a big deal. It would just be, like I would kind of just roll my eyes a little bit at that. I would feel like, well, I don't really expect. I don't do anything. Like when I do things for people, I don't expect gratitude from them. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you if I don't hear anything from you. You're supposed to not expect anything in return, right? That's a non-transactional compassion. That's the essence of non-transactional compassion, where you're supposed to just do kind things just for the sake of feeling like you've done the right thing, right? So it's not like I would hold it against you if you thanked God instead of thanking me, but I would feel better about it if you thanked me for it and recognize that, well, I did this. I definitely wasn't trying to. I didn't do this because it's what God wanted me to, because I don't worship God. I don't subscribe to any belief system that involves God. So I would be surprised if it was some kind of divine intervention. It might have been divine intervention that I'm just not even aware of. I suppose there's always that possibility. But I would be surprised. I think that I would. So, anyways, that's basically the second point I wanted to make. That there's this problem of misattribution with that comes along with prayer, because you never know if you're praying if if it was God's work or just regular people. So that there's that. I'm going to need more access. I'm out of access. I have to go return home to drop things off. I guess I will bring one bundle along with me, because I run out of inventory. I end up with things taking up my inventory space. I mean, I guess I don't really, I still have more inventory spots. I ran out of access before I ran out of inventory anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't really need. I guess I don't really need those bundles then, because I just run out of. If I bring 3 axes with me and 2 of them break, well, I already got to go back to resupply the axes. How are we on time? We're about 40 minutes in. I guess I'll talk for like another 10 minutes. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to cover everything. I have like 8 bullet points on my index card, so I'm going to have to return to keep talking about this in the next episode. And did all my cows grow? Are my cows grown up now? Yes, they are. They are ready to be fed again for a second feeding. Let me go ahead and drop everything off, and then I guess and then I'll feed the cows, and I'll probably conclude the episode with that, just because I know I'm going to need to come back out there for make another go out to the trees again. So I really only made 2 of my 8 points so far. God wouldn't want us to pray to him, and it's impossible to tell if good things happened because God did them or because other people did them. I guess, do I have time for one more thing? Yeah, I kind of want to end it with that for today, because the other ones are kind of go together. Those were the point. All right, I'll just call it a day for now. I'll say that this is what that's all I had for you for this episode. I'll just say that's about all I want to say for now, because there is more. I don't want to get carried away talking about anything else, because because it might take another couple of days to address like the next point. So I'm gonna say that, this is a pretty big topic, and it's gonna be a while. It's gonna take a while for me to actually cover everything. I'm going to need like a separate barrel or something. Well, that's right. My plans for when I got to a full row was to move that row to one of the storage chests, either upstairs or downstairs. I guess I could move. There's plenty of room downstairs, a storage room downstairs now. I could just designate one of those big chests in the basement as a sapling chest. But then I have so much storage room upstairs. Now I'm going to move it upstairs. I'm going to leave the storage space, these storage chests, I'm going to leave these for rocks. Although the saplings, I'm conflicted. I'm going to think about that off camera and figure it out off camera. I don't want you guys to make you guys watch me think. I just want to make a couple of stone axes, and then I want to feed my cows, and then we'll call that the end of an episode, and just one more hoe, I guess. I've been going with like one extra hoe, like one more hoe than the number of axes I have. That's been working out. I guess that might be too many if you do a bit too many hoes. All right, we're basically ready to. This is good. We're ready to go back out there now. I wanted to. Do I want the bundle? Just in case I encounter more mob loot. Sure. Let's go ahead and bring the one bundle along. It won't hurt. It's just one spot, and then what else? I wanted to do like one other thing, if I remember right. I don't remember. Oh yeah, fences. I don't have fence on me. I do want to have some fence on me. No, it goes in this slot. This is where the fence goes. Yeah. Let's just bring like yay many fences with us. All right, and let's finish the episode off by breeding the cows. And see, they're back on that corner of the freaking farm again. They just prefer to stay around there. It's kind of irritating. I don't like that. I think it's time to go ahead and harvest all of this now. Yeah, this is all just about fully grown. There's just a few more few more spots where it hasn't finished growing yet. Oh, and there we go. Just as we talk, it completes its growth cycle, and the rest of this looks like it's all set. It's good to go. Whee! And this tree finally grew. Is this a big enough tree? It's still pretty small. It's not a very big tree. No, it's not a very big tree. No, I kind of want to... I want it to be bigger than that. That's still... I re-rolled it so many times now that it just doesn't feel right to accept this as the final iteration, right? Well, I guess it's not bad. This isn't bad. It's not bad. I should just accept what I'm given. I mean, it's not bad. It's better than like the tiny balloon trees. I kind of wanted something like this, where it had like multiple branches. This one only has like one branch. Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll it. Re-roll it one more time. Wow. A lot of wheat here. So much wheat that it didn't fill in the inventory space that I had. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chop this tree back down and re-roll this tree again, because I'm still not entirely happy with it. If I'm not entirely happy with something, like not 100% happy, then I know I'm going to come back to it and freaking want to redo it. So, also, one other thing I wanted to mention is that I know that we're past 300 days now in this not hardcore mode world, in this survival mode with Angry Hearts world. If you guys are new to this, the Angry Hearts are decorative at this point because I have died 3 times already. But we're on day 309 now, so we're overdue. Like I don't want to call them world tours anymore. I'm going to call them recap episodes, because I'm not touring everything. It's not really a world tour at this point, because I'm just going to be going over the. I'm just going to be going over what I've done in the last 100 days. And I know I'm overdue for that now that we're past 300, but I still don't have my enchanting setup going on. I want to wait until I actually have my enchanting setup so that I can show you guys the actual completed product, the completed build, because that's kind of the last thing remaining for this build. I got the farms going. This tree I'm still re-rolling to get a good tree over here, and there's still like another tree over there on that side that still needs to grow. So I'm still waiting on a couple of trees to let me have what I want out of them. And see, let's say, like, sometimes mystical things happen in this world, in the Minecraft world. Sometimes crazy coincidences happen, right? In my liminal world, just the seed number for that world was so crazy, right? It ended with my what did I do? It ended with my area code, and it started with four sixes. Like 3 wasn't enough, 4 6s, and then it ends with my area code. How crazy is that? That just strikes me as a wild coincidence. But should I attribute God to that? I mean, it literally starts with 4 6s, right? If anything, it would be like a fucking devil or something. But no, I don't really. I mean, I really ultimately I don't know. And I would, if I was to attribute it to anything, like I would like to imagine that there is a supernatural component to Minecraft, that there is a spirit of Minecraft, that there is a spirit of the Prologue world, of the spirit of Mount Patience, even the big mountain I have. I feel I do like to kind of engage in a bit of an mystical animism, as I like to call it, of liminal animism, in which, like, I do believe that there's entities in these worlds, like supernatural. There's some supernatural forces at play, or at least like to role play. At least, at the least, it's kind of like a role playing thing. Like, I don't really know, but I'd like to imagine. And in that case too, this to bring us back to the topic, I don't know whether or not to attribute things happening to me in this world to God or to the spirit of Minecraft. Like, why can't it be that it's the spirit of the Prologue world that's doing these, that's treating me to lucky finds or something like that? There's no way to know. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and feed the cows. There should be exactly 32 now. Let's see if that is true. And they're all on that side of the map again. Come on, guys. Don't do this to me. Stop doing this. Let's stay on this side of the map where it's convenient for me to freaking feed you guys one half a herd at a time. We're just gonna hope that it's an odd number. Perhaps I should split them into two just to be sure that it's an even number, that I have an even number. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. Okay, well that's an even number. That's good. That's 14, and let's hopefully there's 18 of them on this side now. 18 of them. Okay. I kind of want all of those to notice me as well. Come on now. Nope. Alright, that's fine. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 28. That was 28. 20, 29, 30, 29, 30. Okay, well I still have 2 more that I didn't use up. Damn it. So I don't know. I don't know if I missed a couple, but I know that I made 15 new cows. You know what? It's no problem if there's more than 32. You know, if there's more than 32 cows, that's fine. I should just make, you know, just in that case that I'll use up my, as long as I use up half a stack, I use up 32 wheat, then I know that there's 16 cows ready to be killed. I'm going to go ahead and kill like 14 cows now, just because that way I think I'll end up with like 34 cows maybe, or I don't know. There's no way for me to know anymore at this point, because they're all, it's hard to count them when there's this many. I'm gonna kill 14 and assume that there's more than 32. After I kill 14, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's kill these guys. 13 and 14. And yeah, and that's a couple more feedings like this, and we will have our 48 cow skins to make 16 bookshelves with. Yep. Oh, let's drop that off here, that off here. All right, and we are ready. I want one more stone axe because this one's about to break. Let's go ahead and make that. I guess I have an extra stone on me for some reason. I guess I don't really need that. Where's my stone now? Do I not have any stone over here? I don't have any stone at all in my like general chest. I brought all of them. I guess so. I guess I brought all of my stone downstairs into the storage chest. It's all over here now. I think right here, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'll bring this half a stack with me. I kind of want to keep a stack of stone upstairs just for these occasions when I end up actually running out of stone because I'm just chopping trees. Let's just leave a stack of stone in the general chest right here. Yeah. That'll work. And we are now ready to go back out there, chop some more trees. In the next episode, I'm going to save that for the next episode. And then hopefully we're like one more episode away from doing the recap, the non-world tour, and there's some things I want to talk about in the world tour. I also have some off-screen worlds that are ready. I'm going to record. I got to 500 days in the liminal world. I want to record the world tour for that one, but I'm not going to be able to actually publish it because I like to spread them out. I like to make like at least three long play videos in between the world tours. The world tours have also just not been getting good reception at all. Like people like the long play videos, but not the world tours. The world tours like literally get dislikes. I have to assume that it's little kids that just get bored with it because I guess the algorithm, promotes the world tour videos to kids. I'm going to stop calling them world tours. I'm going to start calling them recap videos. Although as of right now. Like there's still a lot that I recorded that were world tours because those were the first ones from that world. Because after the first one, it becomes recaps, right? Because I'm not going to tour the entire world anymore. So there's a distinction there. All right, I'm basically ready for the next episode now. We're all set. I guess I said everything that I expected to have time for. I figured that I wouldn't really have time to address everything that I have on my index card. I talked about two things, 2 out of the 8 things so far. So there's more trees to chop. There's more things for me to say on this matter of the ethics of prayer. I'm going to continue this conversation in the next long play episode. Please let me know what you think. Once again, these are unlocked episodes. The continuation of the series depends on you. It depends on the viewer. The way this works is I don't release the next episode unless and until I receive at least 2 fairly substantial comments to my previous episode. So to this episode, I'm going to need at least 2 fairly substantial comments once again, as usual, for me to release the next one. And if I don't get them, or if there's a delay, I mean, perhaps you guys just aren't quite keeping up with it. It's not that I'm losing your interest, but if it happens to be that you guys are having a busy week, I don't know if I'll have more than, I don't know what my audience is going to be like by the time these are getting released, because I'm recording way ahead. So if it is the case that I only have those 2 people that have been leaving me those 2 comments per episode, like the minimum requirements, then I wouldn't hold it against you if you take a little longer because you're getting busy or something. That's fine. That would just result in me taking a little longer to publish the next episode. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this for. I don't want to be publishing these episodes any faster than people can keep up with them. The people that are interested in this kind of stuff, right? My actual viewers. So yeah, I'm not going to release the next episode unless I receive 2 more fairly substantial comments from you guys. And thank you very much for the comments that you've left to the previous episode, because this one wouldn't have been released if it wasn't for you guys. So please continue doing that. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate any kind of input. If you guys are religious people, I thoroughly enjoy talking with religious people about this stuff. I really want to encourage religious people to leave me comments about this stuff. Have you guys thought about this stuff? About the ethics of prayer? All right. And if you have things that you want me to talk about on this matter, I mean, I guess I'm not going to be able to because of the time dilation. I'm not going to be able to respond to anything you say in the comments in the videos. I won't, there's going to be too much time delay for that. But I'll definitely I'm looking forward to talking about this stuff with people in the comments. If anybody wants to, I'd really appreciate it. And I'm not going to release the next episode until I get at least a couple comments. So with that, I guess this might always be the last episode as far as I know. So that's it. I hope that it's not. I hope that it won't be, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. And thank you very much for your viewership. I'm going to attribute your viewership to yourself and not to God helping me out. I'm going to assume that it wasn't the work of God, that it wasn't God like trying that guided you to watch this video. I'm going to guess that didn't happen. That you watched this video because you wanted to, out of your independent volition. Right, that was independent of of whatever God. But maybe God didn't want you to watch this video, and you watched it anyways. Maybe by God's standards, this is not a good video for you to be watching, and God is actually mad at you for watching this stuff. There's no telling, right? But anyways, let me know what you make of this topic of the ethics of prayer. Have you thought about the ethics of prayer before? Do you get awkward feelings about people attributing things to God when you do things for them, when you do good things to them, and they're like, oh, thank God, but they don't thank you for it, or they thank you, but also act like God had something to do with it? Does that make you feel slightly uneasy? Well, not uneasy. It's not a big deal. I don't really care. It's not. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just kind of odd, right? It's an odd sensation. Awkward feeling. But all right, that's it. I said everything I everything I want to do for now. This is a good place to stop. I'm going to let you guys go now. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Shadilay, my fellows. Shadilay.